Hi again. This is my training on my reference guide. So I'm going to share my screen again. Here we go. I'm actually getting good at this. So here we go. So here's how it looks. I really recommend printing this out and having it handy. And don't get overwhelmed because there's a lot of information in here. And I'm your tour guide. So if you have any questions, I will refer you where in the reference guide to look. So you do not need to memorize this stuff. And, we'll just take it one day at a time and get used to this. So please don't get overwhelmed. Here we go. Page 1, which is the guide to the reference guide. And, self-explanatory pretty much. And we'll go through each page of the reference guide. Here's my letter to you. Please read it because, some of the reference guide is reference material, and this is more of like instructions, like, for example, taking your before picture, which not everyone wants to see their before picture right away. But let me tell you, when you are able to compare your before picture to your after picture, it's a great feeling. So I do recommend it. And also weighing yourself in the morning so that you have your starting weight. So we could, a week later, weigh ourselves again at the same time of day in similar clothing. That will get, an idea of how much you're losing every week. And I would love to hear from you. Please, please, please text me your progress. It makes my day when I get texts from people about their weight loss. So, and if there's something going on that's not what you want to see, let's talk about it because, sometimes that modification needs to be made or an adjustment. And sometimes going back to the basics, like reading that quick start guide again, could be helpful because sometimes we get comfortable, we think we know things. Even myself, I remember I thought I knew everything, and then I didn't realize I was having 2 fats with turkey, which, is not the end of the world, but really only get 1 fat with turkey. So going back to the beginning sometimes is a good idea. Just a thought. And let's go to page 2, which has support calls, and really important is the nutrition support number, which is also the ordering number. Different options for, you press option 1 and option 6, you'll get to the nutrition support, which you can ask questions to them about technical things, things you're eating, what they count as. You could email them your old recipes of something, you really like to make, and it's a healthy recipe, just needs to be adjusted. Take a picture of it and email it to this email address, and they'll send you back within 24 hours the recipe, adjusted to our program, and something you could use forever, whether you're on maintenance or weight loss or whatever. So I would take advantage of it. It's a great tool. If you're using that phone number to do an order, which I'll make another video on how to actually change your order, because that's something you'll need to know for the future, you'd press option 1 and then option 2, and you could speak to a customer service representative. They're very helpful, and they are open until 11 Eastern. So that's really great on weekdays. So yeah. So, and then the support calls, you can hear this from me a lot, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record sometimes, and I really urge you, plug into our support system. Don't try to do this by yourself. Even if it's going smoothly, simple, 5 in 1, no problem, but we need to work. The whole idea of this is we're taking away the complications of dieting so that we can work on our habits that we have now and replace them with better habits so that by the time we're on maintenance, we've already done the work necessary to have a healthy lifestyle. So we got to do that work. So that's plugging in, speaking to your coach, coming on the support calls, reading the book, doing the workbook. And another amazing book is the Beck Diet Solution. I will probably send you an email about that, but I really recommend it for long-term, permanent weight loss, which we all want, and health. Okay, this is an important document. It's your shopping list for your first week. And you'll see here, I recommend a couple of things, and starting with the chicken bouillon cubes, the Powerade Zero, pickles, and these are extra protein. So let me go through each one because this is important. This is a very low sodium diet. So, well, I don't call it diet, but the diet part of the program is very low sodium. And sometimes our body has trouble adjusting to that. So we want to not shock it. So we want to give it a little extra sodium for the first couple of days. So sipping on the soup, the chicken bouillon soup, will really, help with, like, you might get a headache. So just, you could sip on it throughout the day. It also helps a little with hunger. So utilize it just for the first 4 days until you get into fat burning. After that, I don't really recommend it because it's high in sodium. Powerade Zero also is something that's allowed throughout the program. But remember, it does not count as water. So you need to get half your weight in ounces in water a day. So if you drink other things that are allowed on program, just don't let it interfere with your water. But the Powerade is allowed, and especially in the first couple of days, it's really helpful. Has electrolytes. It gives you some extra energy and just makes up for the adjustment period that we're going to be going through for the first couple of days. Pickles, same thing with the sodium, and then the extra protein. So the first 4 days or so, you're not in fat burning. So you're not getting, your body's not going to be so happy because you just took away a lot of calories and it's adjusting. So if you experience hunger, I don't want you to be hungry. So you're going to eat extra protein. And the extra protein would be between the MediFast meal replacements, meaning every 2 to 3 hours, you're going to be having a meal replacement. So if, let's say, you eat 7 in the morning, your first meal, and that's a good point. Let me just backtrack. Within an hour of waking, you should be eating your first meal. Do not wait longer than that if you can, because we want to jumpstart our metabolism, get it revving and going, not be sluggish. And in order to do that, we have to give it something to eat because we've been fasting the whole night. So within an hour of waking, something to eat. 7 o'clock, let's say that's your first meal. So let's say by 8 o'clock in the morning, you're starving. Okay, then you're going to eat either egg whites, an egg white omelet, some tuna, or there's, in my list, you'll see there's, I don't know if I have it written here, but string cheese, that's 6 grams of fat per serving or less is okay. Low-fat cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, the 100-calorie, I don't think it's 100-calorie, it's the Greek yogurt, like Chobani, for example, just plain yogurt. You could sweeten it. I put some of the MediFast pancake syrup in it to sweeten it if I need extra protein. And any lean protein, if you have salmon in your fridge, any of the proteins that are allowed on program, you could eat extra of between, I would say 2 ounces at a time just to get, satisfy that hunger. If you're going to have tuna, this is a little complicated. I would say if you're that hungry, you could eat it plain. It's not very appealing, but if you're starving, you're going to be okay with it. But if you really can't eat plain tuna, then add some of the green mayonnaise, because I wouldn't want you to waste your fat that you get for your lean and green meal on your tuna that you're having extra. So use the green mayonnaise. 1 tablespoon is equal to 2 condiments. If you remember from our last video, you get 3 condiments a day. So if you use, that towards the condiments, you could do that. So that's an option. And so that's the thing with the extra protein. Here's a thing, a shopping list of things that you'll be utilizing on the program. One of this, I like to talk about the Silk brand unsweetened almond milk, and any almond milk that comes into this nutritional number, like 30 calories per serving and like 1 or 2 carbs per serving is okay. I recommend the Silk brand because it's less than 1 carb per serving, which means you get a whole cup of it. There's another one, Blue Diamond, if you see here, and that you only get a half a cup as equal to 1 condiment. So the Silk brand, you get a whole cup, and this a half a cup. So I always like to get more, and I actually really like the Silk milk, and I have it with my cereal. I have it in my coffee. Now, if you're the type that really can't handle almond milk, and must have their coffee, 2 tablespoons of, let's say, fat-free milk would be okay, for the program, but, just try to limit the milk because it does have a lot of carbs in it. But if you can't handle the almond milk, 2 tablespoons is okay. And here's our other just recommended things. This one I like to talk about, the sweet leaf stevia drops. The reason I recommend that is you are able to have Splenda, stevia, any sugar packet that's not sugar-free, like the non-sugar packets are fine, but they count as a condiment. So I don't like to count them towards my condiments because I want to use my almond milk and other things. So if you use the liquid form of that sweetener, it doesn't count as a condiment because, to explain that just very quickly, there are carbs in very little, but there's some carbs in those packets to keep the granulated things from sticking. So you don't, I don't want to count it as condiment. So I have the Sweet Leaf brand, any brand I saw. One of my clients found in Walmart, Great Value makes one, some, calorie-free liquid sweetener that's, in a liquid form. So that's a good thing. And here's other items that I recommend. Let's keep going here. Here's some meal ideas that I put together. Most of them I have the recipe for, and I'm more than happy to share it with you. Just send me a text or an email saying, oh, can you just send me that recipe, and I'll be happy to share it with you. And you also could do a lot of Googling. That's what I did to find these recipes. Some of them I sent to nutrition support to get converted, actually a lot of them. But some of them are, approved already by nutrition support, and they're online, like this website called Sandy's Kitchen Adventures. She has tons of recipes. And if you Google, just be careful because some people post MediFast or Take Shape for Life recipes that are not nutrition support approved, and they'll actually do things wrong. So unless it's approved, and you always can ask me whether it is or not, just be a little bit cautious about that. But and some people like to keep it simple and not get fancy, and some people love to play around. So, let me know if you want more ideas of where to get recipes from, because I have a couple websites I could share with you. Here's, some people don't understand this right away, so I'd like to get this out in the open. You don't have to have, let's say, for your lean and green meal, 6 ounces of chicken. You could do 3 ounces of chicken and, a small omelet, and there's different ways to combine. And it gets a little complicated because, do you add a fat? And, so discuss it with me. Call me, in the beginning. Here's some combinations that I put together of, ones I use. But, be in touch about that. And here, actually, this is a mistake. Light mayo, 1 tablespoon is 1 fat. It's 1.5 tablespoons. So I have to change that. Okay. And okay, here is our reference material I was speaking about. We have the condiment list. If these are all counted as condiments. Really, I don't want to be a bad influence here, but I don't go crazy with these types of condiments. I don't really count my garlic powder, and that's up to you if you want to do that. And then there's these things, sauce and service, I definitely would count, because they do have sugar and things like that. So I would count it. And here's some other items, just use it as a reference guide. Like I said, look it up and see what things count as. Okay, here's our healthy fats list. It's really good to refer to. You remember, depending on which protein you get is what number of fats you'll get. So I'm really into avocado, 1.5 ounces, which is about 3 tablespoons. It's a nice amount. It's like a half of a small avocado is 1 fat. So that is a great option. And, a teaspoon of olive oil is 1 fat. I use Pam a lot to not waste my fat on 1 teaspoon of olive oil, because I don't think it goes a long way when you're making something anyway. So I'd rather use Pam and use a different fat. That's up to you. Here's a bunch of fats and dressings, which if you keep kosher, there are not many kosher ones, so sorry about that. But, please feel free to ask me what ones in your store count as, because there are dressings that are kosher that are good. Okay, here we spoke about the snacks in the Getting Started guide, and here they are again. Okay, so this is really from the Getting Started guide. The lean options, we went through that in the other video, so I'm not gonna. Okay, here, this is a good one. This is the vegetarian guide, I think. Vegetarian options for the lean and green meal. Okay, so this is really good to refer to. You see the leanest, you could have 14 egg whites, which I never eat 14 egg whites. I'll do 7 egg whites and 2 ounces of cheese and do that combo. But, to me, that's a lot of egg whites. But you could see based on what it is, if you're gonna add fat, like, you get 2 healthy fats with these and 1 healthy fat with this and no healthy fat with that. So that's, a great place to look. They are, just so you know, and they say this on here, are a little higher in carbs than, in general, like the vegetarian options are higher in carbs than the pure proteins. So, I wouldn't do it every day, but it's definitely a good option for a couple days a week. So, that's one thing. Okay, here I was talking about this in my quick start guide. It's the veggie weight guide, and we have, and this is, I really wanted to go over this with you. So you see, for example, they have the vegetable, the form it's in, like cooked from frozen variety, cooked from fresh variety. So depending on how you, what form it's in, sometimes if it's canned, it'll tell you. And I would say about canned vegetables, avoid them, because they have a lot of salt. And salt, we retain water, and that's another good point just reminds me, so I'm just going to say it here, about, let's say people ask me, can I have deli turkey? And even though it's, as far as the calorie content and the fat content, it's totally within the guidelines, but the sodium is way off the charts. And I once had it one week and I went on the scale and I had no weight loss. And then a couple of days later, I went back on and I did lose, but it just plays with the scale, and, that could play with your emotions. And so I don't recommend it, but, if you're stuck once in a while, it's fine. But, so, like I said, here's the half a cup measurement. So you could just go by that. Everything basically is a half a cup except the leafy vegetables. But I go a little further. I do weigh it, and you can see it has the grams weight or the ounce weight. I always do grams. Most scales have the option for grams, and I just find that it just, with the weight, if you see 2.36, it gets a little confusing. With the grams, it's just whole numbers. I find that easier, but that's totally up to you. And you do not have to weigh. You could do this program without weighing. There are plenty of people that do. But I do, recommend it just for the first week, just to get used to seeing what a portion size of broccoli looks like, and all the different vegetables, and that, because vegetables have carbs, and, some people I know, they do this program, they're like, well, I'm eating vegetables. What could be wrong with vegetables? And there's nothing wrong with vegetables. And once we're off this program, we're going to, definitely go heavy on the vegetables. But right now we're on a structured program where we want to keep our carbs down to a certain amount to lose the weight the fastest. I don't know. I want to lose weight the fastest I can. And that's how this program is designed. It's to go into fat burning. And the more carbs we eat, when we don't follow the program the way it was designed, we're going to lose slower. We'll most likely, unless we really cheat, we will lose still. If we eat a little extra vegetables, it's not going to be major impact, but you will lose a little slower. So that's your decision to make. But okay, so here we go with the vegetable guide. So, something good to use. Now we go down. Okay, here's a BMI chart. You can figure out your ideal weight. That's a good thing to know, so you know where you're going. You can decide anywhere between, in the green is okay. I like to go mid for me, but, it's a personal decision. Anywhere in the green is healthy and be very good for you. Here's what I was talking about in the quick start guide video about the visual portion size. So if you're really anti weighing and measuring, with a scale. So then here you go. Use this. Let's say 3 ounces of fish. So obviously if you got 7 ounces, it would be 2 checkbooks and a third of a checkbook. So something like that. So just, you could utilize this. It could be helpful. By the way, that's Shari. Say hi. She's my health coach, and she's amazing. Can't wait for you guys to meet her. I'm going to introduce her to you eventually, and Jeff, her husband, is also great. So they've been very inspirational to me on my journey. So, and she actually created this Shabbos guide. If you're Shabbos observant, then this will be helpful. You could, I have a separate Shabbos video for those of you that are, but there's some couple recipes, and this is a very important recipe. I'm going to back up here. The muffins, using the oatmeal to make muffins, which I don't like the oatmeal as real oatmeal, so I recommend it for anyone. I just started making it. Someone had given me a recipe for oatmeal, mixing it with less than a quarter cup of egg whites, less than a quarter cup of water, and mixing it and putting it into a waffle maker, which I don't own. So I did it in a sandwich maker and pouring syrup on top, and it was really good. So I highly recommend it. And so if you go through these recipes, and anyone can use these recipes, not only Sabbath observant people. So some yummy stuff in here. And here, okay, this is about what's going to happen. You're going to be on program, and you're going to get an email around 3 weeks into the program that, and I'm going to forward it to you to make sure you got it. Your Be Slim Club is going to ship out in 7 days, and then it's going to happen again in 4 days. You're going to get another email. It's going to be in 4 days. So we want to, in that time frame, we want to start thinking about editing our order for the next time. So I'm here for you. I'm going to actually make a separate video on how to do that. There is a video already. Maybe I'll just be able to utilize that one. But, it's so easy. And you just could call that number, the nutrition support number I have up there in the beginning of the important numbers in this guide, and just call them and just say, can you please edit my Be Slim Club for me? And they'll do it for you. You could change your date. You could cancel if you want to, whatever you need to do. So here's also explained somewhat. And last but not least is, sharing is caring. And I've had the privilege of helping many of my clients, friends, siblings, on this journey of mine. And, if this program works for you, and it will if you follow it, you're going to feel so much better. I know for me, it changed my life in so many different ways. I feel like a different person. And, the best gift you could give to someone is to help them achieve the same results as yourself. So feel free to refer me, your friends and family. And I do not ever push anyone to do this program. I share the information and see, if they think it's a good fit for them, then they can move forward. And the great news is I pay a $50 referral fee if they make an order. And that's helpful for people, so I put it on your account, and just reduces the amount of cost of your program. So feel free to take advantage of it, and we could discuss it further if you have any questions. And that's it for the reference guide, and I will see you on my next video.